This is my story. This is going to be my life. I'm going to be at this. To read and write Japanese, that'll be easier to speak it, but it's not. When they talk about something that's happening in the present, I recognize now. Language Factory put it right there in front of me, bam, and yakiniku ni. I feel the confidence. I feel great.
Can you tell me about this TV show that it's actually you try to talk to the camera?
Yes.
I know that it's I know that
Yes.
the TV is not on air yet, but also like it is something. It's great things. You actually really talk to the camera. And how do you feel? And then what did you do that time?
It like I
How
said,
happens?
they I was just walking through through the airport, through the train, heading to the train station, and the woman asked me, "Hey, can I ask you a few questions?" And I looked around and said, "Oh, she's definitely talking to me." And so I said, "Sure." And next thing I know, this whole film crew moves in on me, and I said, "Yes." Next thing I know, I got like three guys with cameras standing there, and a big
Oh my
mic being lowered in
God.
front of
Oh
me. I'm
my
like, "Whoa!"
God.
I said, "This is not a test. This is live."
Yeah.
So it was really.
You can easily say, oh, no, I don't want to, because maybe you are really shy or you feel bad about, not talking Japanese or something. I'm sure a lot of people say, oh, no. But why you didn't say no and you say something in the camera?
Well, for one, because you know what? I'm studying Japanese every day. Here's my golden opportunity. I'm not just going to talk to a few people now. This is a live camera. I'm getting ready to reach out to millions of people,
Yeah.
from one side of Japan to the other side. They can all tune in and watch this guy, talk. And that's it. So I I started talking in Japanese. I started talking in Japanese, and they were like, "Whoa!" So that tells you right there, when you see people's eyes get that big, you know,
That's the
that
real.
tells you, you know what, I'm doing. Yes, this is real, and I'm doing it right. I'm doing it the right way. So everything's happening in my life the way it should be happening. So
Oh
yeah,
my God.
I was hoping the show was going to be on tonight, and maybe that was something I misunderstood. But I watched, coincidentally, I watched that show anyway, that particular channel. But sometimes I'll sit and turn it on and watch that. So I was familiar with it once they told me what the name of the show was. I knew right away. So I'll be tuning in, and
Yeah,
I'll
definitely.
always be ready to hit that record button, because when I see my topic on there, boom, I'm going to record.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm
And
going
there
to
was I'm
record it.
gonna promote all on my, YouTube
Yes.
channel that it's my student went to TV show. That's super cool.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
amazing. I'm so happy to see, this just 6 months, you're a totally different person, like totally. Like when you came here, is like you just say, yeah, I'm living here, I cannot speak, it's difficult, my son is here. It was just, your normal person who kind of hoping to speak, and now you feel like fully confident. And you actually say, yeah, I can go to TV show, yeah, I can speak to the stranger, is gathering the people at the park. Is so amazing.
I taught myself the alphabet system, the hiragana and katakana. I'm horrible at kanji. And I thought that if I taught myself to read and write Japanese, that'll be easier to speak it, but it's not. And I try to answer, and that's interesting, because what I want to answer, I think my confidence is really low. That when I want to answer, I get shy and say, "Nah, I'm just not going to even try." I give up. The haga, low, those things I get mixed up when am I using the right particles? That's correct. So It's a lot of things that make me say, "Oh, I'm not doing this right. I'm not going to try." はじめまして。私の名前はラトニーです。アメリカのシアトル出身です。シアトルはパイクプレイスマーケットがとても有名です。ボーイング、アマゾン、スターバックス、マイクロソフトの本社があります。2021年に家族と一緒に住むために日本に来ました。日本に移住するということは自分にとって強い決意がいりました。妻の家族ともっとコミュニケーションを取りたいです。あと、元日本人と交流を持ちたいです。ところで、趣味はロードバイクに乗ることです。飛行機を組み立てることもできます。あと、私はギターも弾けます。この前はスタバにいて日本人に話しかけました。だんだん自分の日本語に自信を持てるようになりました。目標を達成できてとても満足です。
素晴らしい。Hi, Shona.
Hi, Terumi-san.
So, what was your first impression on Rodney?
Right, Rodney-san. To be honest, like first impression was like, oh, he's very kind guy, and then like quite quiet. But yeah, I teach from section 2, and we started to talk quite a lot, and then I realized that he had a lot of experience in his life. So the first impression was yes, quite very kind and quiet. To be honest, yes.
And then during the master course, what did you work on basically? Like, what did you focus?
Right. So we choose the most useful sentences, which is introduction himself. And then like in section 2, I thought he needs more repetition. So that's why we picked up the sentences, and then we did repetition a lot. And then also his pronunciation, like especially our sound, still like English pronunciation. So we practice a lot pronunciation, and also like speed as well. He could speak really slowly, so that's why I wanted him to speak quite faster. So we focus on pronunciation and then speed.
And especially Rodney-san is taking the level 2 with you, and you can see the difference. So after the master course level 1, what did you see the difference?
Right. So first, I can see his confidence straight away, like his face when he speak like Japanese. His face is quite with confidence, and then also smiling, not nervous at all. So yeah, and then he can introduce himself like native speaker. So I was quite impressed. I was surprised. Yeah, I'm very happy for him.
So my first impression on Rodney was quiet, kind person, which means I didn't have a big impression on him. It's just really kind and then quiet. I didn't see how much he's passionate about communicating with Japanese, and also how much he's passionate about like learning really Japanese communication skills. But this time in the first impression, I didn't see because he was really quiet person. So during a master course, he was one of the best students in my group session. He was always every weekend with his even child, which is really busy as a father and also as a man who is working. And then, but also sometimes with his child, he was joining my group session, and he's always trying in front of people. It's, to be honest, he's not like a really young man as like a 20 years old or even like a less than 30. He's like a 40 something. It is as a man trying in front of people and don't hesitate to make a mistake. I really respect that. I think this is one of the really common way to be successful in any age. He really try, and also he never really give up, and also he never hesitate. And then that's the result. When I met him after the master course, like I really, as a coach, I really just cannot believe how he made a lot of progress. When I met him, beginning of the master course, his pronunciation was totally like American Gaijin accent. All the phrases was like almost English. It didn't sound like Japanese. But it's after the master course, his pronunciation is amazing. And I'm 100% sure all native Japanese people can understand. Also, he's really communicative because the phrases is he memorized perfectly, and he really know what to respond, what to communicate, what to speak. And then now he's enjoying level 2. And then and he has already next goal, which is I cannot wait to see his future.
Lingu ga. No, it's not guy, is it? It's not guy.
Yes, go ahead.
Sakin Sakulingu. Is there?
Mm-hmm.
It's not need. Wait a minute. Chicago need. Is it need?
Chicago.
She. Wait a minute. How do I say it?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see how to say it. Let me look. Let me take up my cheat notes for a minute here.
Sure.
Yakiniku ni
お
ikimasu.
おー素晴らしい。焼肉に行きます。素晴らしい。海軍と公園に行きます。焼肉に行きます。パーフェクト。素晴らしい。OK。いいですね。
And especially, now it's like I know like when they talk about something that happened in the past, and they talk about something that's happening in the present, I recognize now right away when I hear that. Ayano-san wa, don't you ni osumai desu ka?
お、いいですね。なんか丁寧な聞き方がいいですね。You actually really ask politely. So Rodney, so first of all, congratulations, and also thank you so much for making this effort that actually you really feel like you start speaking and then feel this fluency in Japanese. That's
Right.
amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So Rodney-san, I'd like to hear your story, and then a lot of people say, of course, I want to go to Japan one day. I want to visit Japan. I want to live in Japan. And you already live in Japan. And then for them who really want to live in Japan one day is, your life is definitely dream life. And also like communicating with native people in Japanese is extra like a really dream come true, that it's you actually in the society, not just a foreigner. So could you tell me like how you end up in Japan? Yeah, from your
Yes.
story. Yeah.
So my job, well, actually when my wife and I met, she was in school in America, and we just had a long courtship for a very long time, flying back and forth, and there's a big difference in the tourist Japan and when you're actually living in Japan. When you're coming as a tourist, you don't have to say things correctly. You don't have to really learn the language. You just kind of go around looking at things, taking pictures and like that. But, when you decide you're going to make your life in Japan, all of that change, the honeymoon is over. It's time to get down to business. So you have to be able to communicate. You have to be able to learn the language and know what someone is saying to you and being able to communicate back with them. You feel a lot better about yourself when you're able to communicate with them. It's always good to when you visit someplace, be able to communicate in the native language and not sound like one of the books. You can go and buy the little books that teach you how to talk, but that's not the way people actually talk.
Mm.
So, you know, I wanted something, I wanted to find some way to not sound like a tourist book.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not a tourist anymore. I'm living here. So, you know, I needed something, and you know,
Yeah.
Japan Language Factory put it right there in front of me, bam, and I can't believe, you know, I'm shocked myself. Sometimes I pinch myself at just how much I've grown, how much I've learned, you know, just from, you know, from taking the course and you know, and talking in 2 months, and I'm having actual conversations. You know, I on the street with people are complete strangers. I'm standing and I'm communicating with them, and they're communicating back. And it's,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's a great thing. It's a great feeling. And, you know, then when it, you know, I have a son, and, you know, I'm sure there's going to come the day when I have to go to his school and pick
Mm-hmm.
him up, or something will happen, and you know, my wife will probably be out of town or something, and I'm going to have to handle that. You
Mm.
know, I want to be able to communicate. I want to be able to handle it. I want to be, if I have to go to a hospital, I want to be able to communicate and understand what the doctors are saying to me. So, you know, it's a lot. And,
Amazing.
you
Amazing
know,
to hear. And also,
and
can you
Japan
tell me,
language.
like you said, you met with your wife in the United
Mhm,
States,
mhm.
and so how did you guys met? And also,
Oh
like,
my gosh,
and
that is
also,
such
like,
an
where
amazing
are you from?
story.
Which state are you from?
From Washington State.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Washington State, and you know, my wife. It's a funny story, because a friend who had been stationed in the
Mm-hmm.
military here in Japan had a video camera that he gave me. He said, "Hey, I can't figure this thing out. It's all the buttons are in Japanese." And he said, "If you know, if you can figure it out, you can have it." So he gave it to me. I looked at it. I couldn't figure out how to make it work. So I asked another buddy who was going to school. I said, "Hey, do you have any Japanese friends that you could possibly get I could talk to and have one of them translate a book for me?" He said, "Sure." So he introduced me to her, gave me a phone number. I called it, and I spoke with this girl on the phone, and she agreed that, okay, we'll meet up and she'll translate the book.
Oh
Well,
my
on the day
God.
but that wasn't my wife. On the
Oh
day
my
that we were
God, this
supposed
is
to,
so crazy.
on the day that we were supposed to meet, the girl couldn't show up. It was my wife's roommate, and she sent her instead. So we met, and we talked, and she translated the book, and we just, you know, as a token of, you know, appreciation, I would go and pick her and her roommate up on the weekends, and you know, take them to run their errands and stuff like that. So we just started hanging out all the time, and you know, we just
Oh
grew
my
and grew.
God. If
And then
this
we, you
guy
know,
didn't give you the camera, what's happened to you?
I know, right?
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So, and then finally,
Wow. Was
she
when,
kept
like,
asking
19
me.
something?
Yeah, it was 2004.
2004. Oh my
Yes.
God. So almost like
Yes.
18 years ago. Wow.
Yes.
Thanks to this
Yes.
guy that gave you the camera.
I know
It's changed the
the
life.
camera brought everything together, changed my life completely.
Oh my. Could you tell me any message to the people who still, like, really struggling to be able to speak Japanese? Maybe they're already living Japan for maybe many years, but maybe they have maybe give up. My wife is Japanese, yes, my child, yes, but also, yeah, difficult to learn. It's not necessary to speak. You know, people can understand English. It's okay. You know, what you can actually say to that people.
You know, the thing is your spouse is not always going to be with you. You know, there'll be times when, you know, you're going to have to engage. You're going to have to be able to, you know. And let me just say this: well, there was one incident where I had to go to the immigration office, the most unfriendly place on earth,
Yeah, definitely.
because they told us when we came in there, no, we do not, we're not going to translate, we do not have translators. We're going to talk to you in Japanese. They told us that's coming in the door. So, you know, you're going to find yourself, in times when you run into those type of situations, you can live your life however you choose to live it. But if you're going to live in any country, and that's not just Japan, that's any place you go, the least you can do is arm yourself with being able to communicate in that native language of that country that you're in. That's a must. It's a must. And you know what? Like I said, you can't depend on your spouse. You can't depend on your kids because you're going to find yourself in a situation where you're out there by yourself. And like I travel and things happen while I'm traveling,
Mm.
there's nobody out there with me.
Yeah.
You know what? I have to navigate that situation.
Mm.
I have to navigate that situation. So wherever you think your comfort zone is with someone else talking for you, you will find yourself losing that.
Mm.
Learn learn that if you only feel like you want to learn the basics, start learning.家を探しています。
いいですね。Very good.
Are you American who live in Japan? So you're actually excited to learn Japanese. But when you started, you realize this is a lot harder than you imagine. But of course, you really want to be able to speak Japanese. You actually can understand what they are talking. You can join the conversation. You can interact them. And you can actually make friends. You can work with them. And you can easily enjoy the life in Japan. Life is only once. Then, of course, you start learning Japanese and hiragana, katakana, kanji, which is 50,000 letters and 500,000 vocabulary, 20 layers of politeness, grammar. Oh my God, this is gonna be a really, really hard. Then you start to become self-conscious about it, like your speaking skills and stop trying and your pronunciation and losing the motivation. So the language learning itself is already really hard. Learning Spanish, French, German, any languages. But if you chose Japanese language, which is one of the most difficult language, of course you feel like you're not making progress enough, you start forgetting, and you feel like when you really be able to speak Japanese. But you're not alone. These are really common problems that everybody face it. And textbook and language apps cannot talk to you. So you cannot learn how to hold the conversation, how to carry on the conversation naturally. So maybe do you want to change the learning method so you can make the much faster progress? You can feel easier to start speaking. So in our consultation, you can learn what is the fastest way to learn Japanese. What is a new learning method to actually give you these Japanese speaking skills. So sign up our free consultation now.